Welcome back, everybody. If you're just joining us right now, we find ourselves 1-1 in the series, Cloud9 Academy against ZOOS Gaming, aka the Toilet Paper Cats. As ZOOS Gaming put on a dominant performance in game number 2, Coco. Break it down for me. How exactly did they find themselves in such a dominant position throughout this game?
Well, we got to start off with how well Darkwings was able to perform in this mid lane. He was able to find such great catches, not only onto Copy, but onto Surenfire as well. But, you know, even though one lane is able to pick up their own weight, it doesn't mean that the rest of the team can follow through, though RBM and Rhino were the ones that were able to really create this guerrilla warfare environment for ZOOS Gaming in the early to mid-game phases, to where they were always able to catch Cloud9 Academy in these rotations. And it'll be a little bit critical to Cloud9 here, where they were going for the little wins rather than the big contestants a lot of the time. And with that, because of how hard they really needed to sort of stretch out against this guerrilla warfare style that ZOOS Gaming was going at, it gave more room for punishment for ZOOS Gaming to apply themselves on and really maximize their consequences going into this second game. But, you know, with all that being said, they're able to get into their team fighting situations that they know and love, and with the Cloud Soul and double power play buffs from Elder Dragon and Baron, they're able to close this one out and tie up the series.
And I love that it's players that are relatively new to anybody who doesn't keep up with the actual amateur circuits. I mean, these are names: Darkwings, RBM, Rhino, players that haven't gotten a lot of spotlight but are really showing up here against the number 1 seeded Academy team, and they do net themselves that victory. Darkwings in particular getting that solo kill against Copy in lane was incredible to watch, and just from that controlled mid lane, ZOOS were able to run away with it. So just like last time when Cloud9 Academy won, we talked about it from ZOOS' perspective. What do they adapt? This time around, ZOOS win, so let's talk about it from Cloud9 Academy's perspective, Coco. What do they need to be looking at in this next pick and ban phase that we're getting ready for currently? What should they change up?
Well, currently we're going to be looking at sort of the different styles of how that early game went, because this is more of what I was familiar with when it was that round robin of Cloud9, where their early game wasn't as formidable against their opponent, where they had a little bit awkward situations where the trades were off-timed. So I'm looking for a place where they can be a little bit more aggressive, where Isles can be up in the front and in the faces of Raheen and Rhino, to where you don't get Rhino just constantly roaming off reset timings and he can actually match him. So this is where I think you maybe take him off the Rel. Like, yes, Rel's a great pick, but Alistar might be even better to help match against Rhino's roams and really contest blow for blow.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's absolutely a strategy that they could go for. Also drafting the Ezreal, playing a very defensive bot lane for King. We've seen King absolutely pop off in this pick, don't get me wrong. But in that game number 1, it was him getting duo kills against Raheen and Rhino. So I feel like if they allow King a champion that can get more early game leads for himself or with his support duo, maybe that's also a strategy that they could employ. But a big part of this, keep in mind, game number 1, we saw a very cheeky level 1 jungle invade, which put RBM incredibly far behind from the get-go. We saw a very standard start. So that's also something I could look at for Cloud9 Academy. Maybe they get some cheese rolling in here again, you know, actually try and get some unique in the early playmaking, because clearly they're a team that likes to play around that. Are
you telling me another Mundo pick? Is that what's in the future? I don't really.
I'm not sure about the Mundo. Maybe. I think that was conditionally good, but I was looking at Darshan's pick at the end there. The Gangplank, they saved that final pick. Gangplank into the Ornn. That's a standard pick right there, but we saw that he wasn't able to do nearly as much against the Ornn as he was against the Cho'Gath. Against Cho'Gath, the Lorm had a really rough time once Cloud9 Academy got past the laning phase, and he couldn't really match that side lane, but Ornn was doing just fine. So I'm looking at Darshan specifically like, hey, let's get something fun out of him. Let's get something that can be a little more proactive, and he can actually get leads by himself, because 2 games in Gangplank, yeah, they're scaling, but I want to see something that he, in that 1v1, can actually try and push his advantages.
Potentially. It's a little awkward for me because it's sort of extracting what from away from Cloud9 Academy's philosophy, where it's much more about Surenfire and Copy in the early to mid game phases, and then you sort of translate to where Darshan and King become those late game carries, because they're the ones that are always scaling and being able to just sort of out farm their opponent and at least apply lane pressure where it's needed. And it's difficult when you also have a nice adaptation with the Ornn pickup onto Aloram, who it's always good into no matter like what matchup you're able to throw it into. So you're already playing onto that back foot. So So if you want to give Darshan that advantage, you either have to blind pick something that he's very confident on, and it allows Alorum to look for that counter pick to try and neutralize that matchup, or you're hoping ZOOS Gaming picks something that's not as stable as an Ornn or a tank in the top side to where Darshan can really exploit it. So with that being a possible situation for Cloud9 Academy to address, they are on blue side for this game 3. I'm thinking they go back to their roots of making sure King is on those team fighting carries that can really start fights on their own. Looking at the Jinxes, we're looking at the potential Varus as well. The other one I'd be setting my eyes on is the Tristana. Kaisa is available. Samira is available. I think you make sure that you have a really bloody bottom lane, and then Surenfire having another aggressive jungler to actually divert the eyes of ZOOS Gaming away from their lanes and back towards Surenfire, who has the favorable matchup against RBM.
Interesting to note, Copy, at least in the recent games that I was able to find, we don't have that big of a sample size of Cloud9 Academy games. Yep. I'm sorry, everybody. But recently has not been playing the Tristana that much. Now, maybe in solo queue, maybe in scrims, that is different. But at least in stage games, they haven't leaned towards that flex pick Tristana. Meanwhile, King does enjoy that pick.
Sure.
So we'll see what happens, because if on blue side they lock in that Tristana first and I'm ZOOS, I'm thinking that's probably going bot side, so they could try to pick against it. I still think that Jinx is also going to be very high priority. Yeah. Probably a ban out from ZOOS Gaming if they're on red side, because that was really difficult to deal with when King was piloting that champ. But let's also talk about the mid lane. We mentioned top, we mentioned bot side now. This mid lane matchup has after game number 1, this has got to blown up, because Darkwings is showing, even when he's kind of counterpicked. I know the Lucian was a flex pick and held for a while, but then they did opt to play that into that Syndra lane. Gets a solo kill. Is this something that Copy needs to start sweating and think, okay, put me back on Orianna team? I can't deal with his 1v1?
I think so. Like, it might be something that just sort of messed with Copy's mental for a little bit. Said, look, I can't win the dueling lanes anymore. Darkwings has the matchup in that favor. So to that end, do you either go back with the Orianna and you make sure that you always have a place to always challenge lane priority, and then you can sort of assist Surenfire when he looks for those forward presence pushes out of the jungle, or do you look for something that again plays to that more aggressive style and look to try and make it where Surenfire can try and pay more attention to that mid lane and shut down Darkwings in that mid jungle synergy? For me, I'd go with the former. I go with something that's a little bit more neutral, but I don't think Orianna is the potential pickup here, especially if ZOOS Gaming is reading the same tea leaves as we are, right? They might ban something out to where Orianna is no longer available. So that's where they might be forced to be a little bit more versatile in that mid lane, to where they can find that neutrality and focus on their other objectives in mind.
Copy's champ pool is also pretty deep. He's played things like Orianna, Galio, Azir, also can pilot the Syndra.
Galio's a good option.
Yone, like Zoe. Copy actually has a pretty deep champion pool.
I don't think Yone's going to pop up. ZOOS Gaming likes to play beefy compositions, so Yone's probably out of the pool of consideration. I do like the Galio, as you mentioned. The other one I would say is probably Zoe. I think Zoe is something that you can still blind pick it. It is still very favorable in a lot of situations, and it provides a lot of zone control around those neutral objectives where we didn't really see Cloud9 Academy have too much activity around. Sure, they were there to try and dissuade ZOOS Gaming away from those dragons and those heralds, but they weren't trying to challenge them or force fights into those situations as much after Darkwings was able to take over mid lane pressure.
Yeah, and also just having the Zoe bubbles. I mean, Kha'Zix, less scary in a jungle if you can just throw Zoe bubbles repeatedly into there and check those brushes. Like, all right, he's not there. Yeah. Move forward, team. All right, he's not over here. Move forward. Options for Copy to come in with, but from the blue side, we see that they're willing to blind pick Copy. So I think that either way, I expect to see a counter pick come out here from Darkwings, which then makes me wonder about his pool, because this is also a player with a very deep champion pool. We got things like, again, this the same usuals: Orianna, Azir, Syndra, Zoe. Boring. Silas, Akali, Cassiopeia. No, not Cassidy. That's the next series later today. But other champions that we still could see show up here. And this is just Nightwings as a player. This guy, I'm happy we got to see the pop-off performance in Game 2. Because Game 1, he had a decent performance, did get caught off in the jungle at that one time and had a pretty rough play there. But overall, I think eyes on Darkwings. If you are a team looking to draft mid laners for Academy going forward, and you're not looking at Darkwings, you're absolutely trolling, because this guy, he's showing that he has a lot of carry potential.
Yeah, The only question is how many of those LCS and Academy teams really need a carry mid laner right now? I can name a couple.
Please bring carry mid laners back to NA. I mean, no shade to all the NA mid laners. I love you guys, but
I want more
carries
Silas
back in here.
Let's get some talent players. Where are my talent player mid laners?
Yeah,
Let's get
that's
those.
the spirit, Coco. That's what we need.
If we see Darkwings play talent, I will probably cry in tears of joy. But with that, we are going to be going into game 3 with this series. Okay, a couple bans have already been thrown out. Fairly traditional as it is. So we're going to see if any like third picks or third bans are going to be switched up at all for either C9 or ZOOS.
Yeah, so far Tristana Thresh taken off the table. So that signals to me, obviously I was off on the Tristana potential first pick here for Cloud9 Academy, but notably Jinx is still available. So if ZOOS Gaming don't take that off the table, I feel like Cloud9 should just run it back. That Jinx did a lot of work in that game number 1. So it really just comes down to what's the question mark here for Cloud9 Academy's final ban. It's actually the Hecarim. Okay, so we still see very standard jungle bans across the board.
Well, they've banned the Hecarim against RBM every single game. I understand why. It's a very dominant jungler, and it's something that Churnfire doesn't want to deal with. Totally respect it. The other option, there's the Jinx. Yep, that's ZOOS Gaming taking that off the board. So now we're going to be seeing a new ADC. The question is, are we going to be seeing it picked up in B1, or are we going to be seeing it closer to the middle of the pack in this draft? You still have Kai'Sa and Samira available, like we mentioned, those team fighting, short-ranged ADCs that are possible. The other thing that I think, this is sort of out there, but I think C9 Academy could flex Vayne. I think Vayne would be an interesting pick for them.
First pick Vayne would
not
be a little...
first pick. I'm saying flex. Maybe on 3 and sort
of
say,
we're on
hey,
the first pick right now.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
let's not bait the Twitch chat, right? We don't want another Reddit post. But it is the Lucian lock-in first here for Cloud9 Academy. So still a flexible 80 carry.
Yeah, so still something that you can still argue with. It's just a question of how confident is Darshan willing to also challenge that and say, you know what, we can go Lucian top if we want, and really make sure ZOOS Gaming is thinking over their heads. But this moment in time, ZOOS Gaming says, you know what, Isles, we're going to be putting you on something different, even if it's not going to be through your fruition or through your force of will. You might be playing something new. Maybe that Alistair, like we mentioned. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just sort of looking at these supports that ZOOS is hovering right now, and I'm saying if Aloran plays Lulu, I swear this is just going to be miserable for Darshan. As okay, there's the Kai'Sa being picked up for Raheem.
Okay, so pretty standard bot lane. Kai'Sa has fallen off slightly in like the top priority, but when Jinx, Tristana, even Seraphine are taken off the table,
still good.
Still don't hate it, especially paired with that Rel, because again, that wombo combo, very, very strong. Churnfire's running it back with a Lilia pick, so they weren't too deterred. They still think that they can handle it. I'm a little worried right now because Kha'Zix is still on the table. They want to end the same mid laner and jungler, but it is at least that Alistair like you were expecting.
Is this a Silas 3 for Darkwings? I feel like this might be a Silas, but like because you have the Alistair, you get the Silas 6, steal that. Also has a pretty decent laning phase against Lucian, but you're still hovering it. You're considering it. I know you're considering it, ZOOS. Be careful.
If anybody's played ARAMs with me, you know Silas has AP scaling on his ultimate. Come on, lock it in.
Yeah, but it looks like they're really trying to bicker with the Syndra being locked in as it is now. It is towards those bans, and with that, it's just the comfort that Darkwings likes. He's like, you know what, I'm down to run it back. If Copy runs that Lucian, I'll still be able to take him out, no problem. As Xayah is taken away from King, let's see how much they're crunching down on this bottom side of the map, because it looks like they're not really worried about Darshan. Because if Darshan picks something crazy, it's going to be something that at least Alorum can just pick a tank and sort of neutralize it.
Alorum also has counterpicks. He plays things like the Wukong. He even plays the Urgot, which has not been banned yet. So Cloud9 Academy have banned that the last 2 games.
I feel like it's going to be banned.
It's like, probably getting banned.
It feels like it's a fear pick from Darshan. Like Darshan says, don't give me that. I don't understand the pick, so we're not going to deal with it. The Malphite being taken away does make me feel like they might be picking Gnar for Darshan, because that's one of those tanks that can deal with Gnar. Pretty neutral as well, can really snowball. Sivir being taken off the board as well. So now you're sort of you're putting them in a bind. You're putting C9 in this awkward situation of saying, all right, well, we don't have a lot of ADCs on the board. You're putting King onto that Ezreal again. If you do that, we saw how it was last game. He doesn't become that dominant team fighter. He struggles with confidence in those objective contentions, and ZOOS Gaming might have the upper hand going into that mid-game performance as Kha'Zix is the fifth man.
All right, we got the Irgot up. I think that ZOOS Gaming would probably lock that in.
Whoa.
And they say, all right, take the Kazakhs. We're locking in the Nocturne. I mentioned this before, and I'm kind of surprised that we're actually seeing it come out here because we actually saw Nocturne played from Schernfire's side. But RBM saying, look, I like this champion too.
I saw the Samira hover. I knew
Wow.
King was considering it. The Jhin is an option just for like a stronger laning phase, but looking at how short range ZOOS Gaming is, I'm liking this a lot more. The Aphelios is a good potential pickup for King. The only problem is you don't have Thresh paired with it, and he really needs that Thresh for flexibility to maneuver around team fights. Forcing King back onto this Ezreal, we discussed those concerns already. Now you have to blind pick your top side. You're saying, all right, this is the best part about the Nocturne pick, because you can flex it top. And it's good into Gnar if you want to try and challenge it. So even though Darshan is saying, I can still run the Gnar, you're running into a counter pick, and Nocturne can deal with the top side as well. Also, Nocturne is a counter to that Scion as well. So you're in a real bind, because ZOOS technically still has the flex for top jungle.
They do still have the flex.
Wow. This is a great draft from ZOOS.
I mean, honestly, I still think you could take the Irgot into that Scion, too. I'm not the biggest top lane matchup expert. You're the top laner.
You can, because he's got shotgun knees that do max HP shred. So Irgot is still possible. And it also does execute. This also isn't like a ridiculous set support either. Like, you have the Alistar, it's obvious. The only problem right now is that C9 Academy is fairly low damaged once you get to 2 items. Then it's something where King and Isles will start to pump out a lot of damage onto these double ADC comps, but it's a lot of just front end AD, so you don't have to worry too much about being too beefy as long as you're able to get onto them. Olorum throwing down the gauntlet, as we saw with him locking in the Aatrox, he's a little bit more confident with that, and it gives him a lot of survivability when it comes down to the scrappy skirmishes around the objectives at around the 8-minute mark. So with this, I'm sort of tying up the bow on this one. ZOOS sort of ran the gauntlet here with the draft and performed fairly well. I'm liking the draft from ZOOS, but C9 Academy is still getting that scaling fight.
This is what Cloud9 Academy go for every single draft, Coco. It's just, okay, let's try and survive through the early game and make it to the late game. And again, speaking with Westrise before the show today, he did mention that that's what they like to do, specifically going for those really late game style compositions, but a strong enough one in the early game to scale. This is kind of that, right? Like, this is strong enough to still scrap. You still have Copy and the Lucian. You still have Alistar who can roam around. We know Isles is a support that really likes to roam around. But I'm, again, looking at Schernfire. I'm looking at RBM and this jungle matchup. It's not the same as the Kazakhs, where if Kazakhs finds the Lilia, you're dead. But level 6, kind of, right? Like, if RBM can get to that point, it becomes a similar game. And we did even see on that last time, the junglers didn't even, like, really look at each other until, like, level 5 anyway, so... Wow, this is the League of Legends that we wanted to see. This is what I signed up for. Everyone in Twitch chat, if this is your first time watching Proving Grounds, maybe this isn't what you signed up for, but it's what you're getting today. Cloud9 Academy, ZOOS Gaming, 1-1 in the series. Winner continues through the upper bracket. Loser will find themselves in the lower bracket. Pride on the line as Academy faces Amateur, Coco, and man, I cannot wait to get into this game. We're in the early game. Standard start from both teams. No early shenanigans.
Zoom out a little bit. Remind ourselves, what is this series for, right? Like, this is the quarterfinals. C9 Academy wins this. It sort of puts any doubts to rest. They are the top seed. They are the strongest Academy team in Proving Grounds. But ZOOS Gaming are the Kingslayers. They're the ones out of all the amateur teams that have the highest chance of upsetting any strong heavy hitters in this circuit. And taking Cloud9 Academy to a game 3, they're already winning this argument. They just need to close it out. They just need to hit that one knockout punch and end this argument forever. But Cloud9 Academy, going back to the game 1 roots, knowing they need to be the one that punches first.
Trying to find the cheeky early invade. It's actually onto the Raptors. They have a lot of AoE damage here for this. But look at Rhino. Rhino actually roamed up here. Copy and Isles are here too. Oh, they missed the engage onto Schernfire, and he is level 2 earlier on. Flash by Isles. That's a lot of AoE damage still back and forward, but RBM is in trouble. Has the flash. Fails the flash over the wall. Ooh, that's not how you want to start the game, everybody. Unfortunate right there. They also lose flash off of Alorum, their top laner. And now Rhino, he can't even back. He might just die here. Schernfire is there, still level 2, and there is a flash on Rhino, so okay, he gets out.
Oh, he's
Okay,
trying to challenge Surenfire. He's trying to challenge Surenfire on this. TP coming in from Alorum. They might be trying to pinch this.
RBM's actually running there too. They want to go for the smite steal. Oh, there we go. The knockup is in. Surenfire does get actually stolen Rhino. He gets the red buff. He's gonna kill Surenfire. What is happening in game 3 of all things? Oh, Isles is still here. There's a teleport from Copy. This is pandemonium. This is chaos. This is not League of Legends, but I love it. RBM still level 1, will not get a leash. But man, kills across the board for both teams, and so much for the early game.
And you know what? I gotta give it over to C9 Academy. They came out on top 2-1, and you got red buff over onto Darkshot. He is able to at least challenge this top side of the map a little bit more with some HP regen and some dueling going on with this Scion. But what a way to start this third game of the series. Surenfire.
Rhino's still here.
Rhino's still here. He hasn't even been bot lane.
Rhino is still here. There's flash on Copy. He's not going to use it. I don't think he needs to.
Dead?
He actually still has enough health bar. Okay, Darkwing's looking for it. No, he can't find it.
No mana.
They don't even get the flash. All right. Okay, when is Rhino's going to hit level 2? Is he just like, is he giving up at this point?
He's kind of screwed out of bot lane, to be honest. Like, he's in a place where if Isles catches him out, he's kind of done for. And Isles knows that.
They're still fighting. Surenfire's there. Okay. They will finally back off. King's level 4, by the way, and Rhino is still level 1.
Rhino needs to get this bot lane as soon as possible, and it is going to be tough to try and get there. Oh, thank goodness. I thought Isles was going to try and hex flash over.
I thought Rhino was going to go for it. Yeah, I was like,
Isles is looking for it. Rhino is.
That's how he hits level 2. All you need is red buff and scuttle as a support.
Well, okay, let's look at this again, right? This was really weird. Coming in from ZOOS and like on how extended this fight is. So overall, this is a better level 1 for C9 Academy because they had the upper hand on the engagement. They're the ones that hit the go button, and it's ZOOS Gaming who has to play on the back foot for the reset. This though is when it gets completely out of control because Rhino is so confident he can still challenge this because Surenfire already used his smite that he can take this first blood. He says as long as they take the first blood and really slow down Surenfire's momentum, that's where we can sort of win this game back. But because of him sticking around so long and the rest of ZOOS Gaming being late to this call, it allows Cloud9 Academy to at least get that second kill and have extra time to recuperate and try and force ZOOS Gaming away from the rest of the members of Cloud9 so they can go back to their lanes being 2-1. The thing that happens after that, because the replay's a little too long, because now we have to look at RBM getting caught out.
Yep, he has a spell shield, but it's not going to keep him alive from Surenfire, Copy, and Isles. Surenfire will get that kill.
Tough love.
Okay, well, good luck tracking jungle pathing, tracking lane position this time, Mr. Colorcaster. I just get a yell every time they kill each other.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
It's been happening a lot.
So the thing that's a little bit great is that Rhino isn't actually as behind as we'd expect because he got the red buff kill, so that's a massive amount of XP that goes over to him, not to mention the first blood. So he has been able to catch up slightly. He's still a little bit behind in some EXP, but now we have to look back to this jungle on how much momentum Surenfire and the rest of Cloud9 Academy can force away from these lanes and divert the eyes of ZOOS Gaming back into the jungle where Isles and Surenfire have that upper hand in this Alistair and Lilia combo pre-6. Once it gets to 6, RBM starts to get that tool with the paranoia that he can start to look to these lanes once more.
And he is only 2 camps behind, despite that atrocious early game. Is Darshan going to get a solo kill? There's no way Darshan gets a solo kill.
No,
right?
but he might bait him into death.
Alorm really wants Darshan to go forward here. RBM, he knows that there's no wards. Actually, Darkwings is pathing up topside. That might have given it away.
I feel like
there was a missing ping on Darkwings going up to the top of the map. I think if he had pathed bot side, maybe they could actually pull that off.
Also, Alorem would not be there if RBM was not in his back pocket ready to go.
True.
Like, there's no other way for it. And you're sort of counting heads there, and you're saying, okay, look, I understand RBM's looking on this top side, so I got to play safe. Let him stay in this landing phase. That's fine if he hits 6. We'll just call it a day now, so I don't give anything over to ZOOS Gaming that I don't want them to have. But now we have Rhino still playing that roaming style on this rel. He could find Copy here.
Again.
They have enough mana.
That same play every time. No, they can't find it. Copy's too mobile.
So
he also had the flash available, so yeah. But yeah, I mean, Rhino's looking for it, man. He is fishing for these engages. But I think that they might have forgotten last time Darkwings was able to get an advantage on his own. I would like to see Rhino actually pairing up with RBM. I mean, if you're going to leave lane, keep RBM alive, keep him safe, because Surenfire is just being brutal in the jungle right now.
It's a little bit of a struggle for the mana department for Dark Wings, though, so mid lane pressure will be going over back to Cloud9's favor. Sternfire is really trying to hang around, seeing if he can get 6 a little bit earlier on this Lilia, so he can help out in pressure to prepare for this Dragon and this Herald fight. But Isles,
Dark Wings gets
nice
some
catch.
damage down, has to flash away. Isles looking for flash forward by Sternfire, and bop!
There we
Does
go.
get the kill. Well played there by Cloud9 Academy, getting yet another one in their pocket. Now 4-1 and a 1.5k gold lead at 7 minutes into the game. Also, red buff again going to Sternfire RBM. Oh, he's level 5 though. He's waiting it out. He has smite. Both junglers do.
Oh, wait.
Get this one. There we go. He runs straight at Sternfire. He doesn't even care about the red buff. There we go. Oh, actually, level 6 there. On to Sternfire, but Alorm joins in, and yeah, you're dead. You're dead, Sternfire. Okay, RBM takes the blast cone just to make sure, and kill goes over to Alorm.
And I think it's no surprise that Rhino's there being a bouncer as well, just to make sure that he can catch any avenue of escape that Sternfire was looking for. But with that loss, with Sternfire dying there, look at what's up now. Rift Herald and Dragon. RBM, yes, still needs to catch up in the farming department, but this is where he can hit his Krugs, look for a reset if he has enough gold to cash in on a specific, on any crucial items, whether it be the Iron Spike Whip, if he's looking for that Stridebreaker build that Nocturnes are favoring at the moment. But it is Electrocute Nocturne, so we might be seeing something a little more assassin focused out of ZOOS Gaming's jungle this time around.
Yeah,
Very
but
true.
look at double buffs onto Alarum. He's actually getting a lot of damage here onto Darshan, trying to body block that ultimate if Darshan goes for it, but can't quite find it. RBM is here, level 5 still, and they get the unstoppable onslaught out of Darshan. So, okay, there we go. That's something.
Forcing the unstoppable onslaught means that they have the freedom to take this Herald on the top side of the map. So, knowing that, RBM decides to go ahead and choose this objective over the Mountain Dragon initially in this neutral objective trade-off. Now, C9 Academy, if they can read this signs here and say, look, RBM's up here, Alorm look for a shove, they're looking for this objective, let's try and get the Dragon. But instead of going for the Dragon, they're looking for more forward pressure in the jungle. Sternfire making sure he can really cut out any resources RBM has available to him to really delay this level 6 power spike on this Nocturne as back as possible. And with this, they've got that pressure. I look at Rhino, he's in a little bit of an awkward spot.
No, he's fine. He's able to get away. I also like what the ZOOS did. Raheen even took that Krug camp, so they were like, okay, we're spending time topside. Let's not give as many camps over to Sternfire, who's just kind of been running around here. Okay, he's going for the blue buff. This would be his 3rd buff steal. If he's actually able to take this, and I think he will. This is absolutely insane what Sternfire is doing in the jungle against RBM, but despite that, RBM has hit level 6, and he is passing towards the bot side, so yeah, Sternfire can't take it. With Raheen and Rhino right there, it's too dangerous with the Nocturne ult coming in too, so Cloud9 Academy do back.
He's going back.
No, you can't do it, Sternfire. Give it up. Stop.
It looks like he can do it.
I can't believe this. Okay, he does have his bot lane there
okay.
too. All right, never mind. He does get it. Makes me sad, but I have to admit it, at the end of the day, Sternfire takes away another buff from RBM and now turns his eyes onto this Dragon right here, and no answer from ZOOS, so it will be a free objective.
Ooh, the ward does see that Sternfire is doing it, though. Rhino decides to stop his recall.
If Rhino steals this.
It's just him, though. If he does it again, I don't know what to tell you.
Right?
I will leave the call. I don't know, man. But no, yeah, he just knows that he's down here, so it allows some freedom from RPM to say, okay, look, I can play a little bit better and forward in this top side of the map. Though Sternfire is going to be pretty quick on this Lilia, so it's a question of if RBM is able to grab anything in this top jungle. If he's able to grab Sternfire's Gromp, or even his Scuttle and Blue buff, potentially, that are coming up fairly shortly. Though, the benefit for them, for ZOOS Gaming, is Alorm is still dominating on this top side. Has that one kill for himself, and is able to always have Darshan underneath his turret, so they can always try and challenge if RBM tries to extend his reach.
This is a very different lane that they're playing around, though. RBM being on top side multiple times here against a Scion, of all things, who is pretty tanky, is building full armor, but now Copy might have found himself against RBM, has to flash away.
All right.
Does not want to get caught there, and no ultimate used by RBM, because, again, that first Nocturne ultimate, we mentioned in Champ Select, it is very crucial, very impactful. Speaking of ultimate, Sternfire actually uses one in the mid lane, but doesn't find anything here. Oh, flash by Oz, he misses it! He fails it! I think the Ignite might be enough, but here's the paranoia from RBM. They trade it. It's a mid laner for a jungler. Rhino's there. He flashes in, engaging aggressively. Raheen jumps in too. Copy's gonna go down. Isles limping away as Alistair, but I don't think he can get away. He might not be fast enough. Headbutt's back. Raheen's there. King will join in. Can he do the damage back to Rhino? Not enough to trade. Isles will go down. A huge swing back in ZOOS' favor.
And what a great win for ZOOS Gaming as well, being able to counteract that overzealousness from Cloud9 Academy into this mid lane. Like, we understand Dark Wings is having the upper hand in this Lucian versus Syndra matchup, and we are seeing that second option of what we were talking about during the break of Surenfire investing
TP
more.
from Dark Wings onto the bot side. Yeah, Kings
he's
is dead.
Okay,
Kings
goodbye.
is
Bye-bye.
dead. Dark Wings gets another kill. I didn't even see the TP channeled, but he just shows. Obviously, King didn't either because he goes down, pushed up a little too far under that bottom turret.
Only superior minds are able to see that TP come in, and Dark Wings is definitely in that department. Gives us a good argument.
Only
for why he needs to be
only
carried.
Cottonelle users could see that one
Only
coming.
Cottonelle users.
We're the Cottonelle fam in the chat.
I'm a Charmin man myself, so it makes sense. Nonetheless, though, sort of reflecting back on how that play is, I think we're just going to have to drop that one now because of how much aggression Rhino and RBM are starting to throw out on this map, because they know they have to try and take as much map state as possible away from Cloud9 Academy, just because of how well Surenfire is able to win it back with how quickly he is on this Lilia. He can get in, take down a lot of camps on RBM's side, and force them into this awkward state of never being able to focus on these lanes, and he's continuing to do that. He just took the red buff again, and he's taking away RBM's Krugs as well. The only question is, will Alorm and RBM be able to pinch him or punish at all? Copy is making sure he can roam up to try and give Surenfire an exit. Dark Wings
is here. Okay, Copy actually. If he gets hit here, no, Isles is joined in. There we go, slap back. But look at Surenfire on the flank right now. That's a big ultimate coming in here, and it's going to be focused onto Darkwing. RBM goes out the paranoia. They actually trade right back. Surenfire's down. Lily's out of the fight. Alorm has joined in. Raid Boss is here, everybody! And he does a lot of damage to Copy. It's Rhino to clean up the fight, though. Darshan cannot take down RBM. Alorm and Rhino goon squatting onto Darshan. The Scion's tanky, though, and he can't flash over the wall. There we go. Isles headbutts back, and will get out, too, but still trades over for ZOOS in their favor yet again.
This is giving me nightmares, Kangas, because it's reminding me of what had happened last week in the first game against TSM Academy, that ZOOS Gaming was always able to find the resources and the manpower to always react to what TSM Academy was dishing out in these aggressive plays. It's happening again here with Cloud9 Academy, always trying to be up in RBM's face, but there's always a Rhino, there's always an Alorm or a Dark Wings there to help out RBM in this jungle, and being able to always make it to where it's at least a one-for-one trade where they can continue to trade gold back and forth onto their members. And you look now at seeing how the result of that has come out. You've got a Gale Force on Rahim, you've got RBM with that Prowler's Claw, as you mentioned, the more assassin-focused Nocturne in this third game of the series, and we're looking at a fairly close point where next dragon spawns in 45 seconds, and I'm giving the favor over to ZOOS Gaming as long as they just look to try and pressure it here in this bottom side of the map.
Ultimates will be available in the next 30 seconds. Darkwings and RBM should both have those up. Alorm has the teleport, so he can teleport in to join that fight. ZOOS Gaming will be primed and ready to go for some kind of dragon contest here. Surenfire, he actually, doesn't get the big Raptors. Unfortunate. He might wrap around, committing for it. Yeah, Surenfire just, man, can somebody go back and count? Maybe the producers can count how many camps Surenfire has taken away from RBM this whole series, not just this game, but the entire series, because it is quite a lot, man. This is a little ridiculous. He is very far up in the CS, but means the Dragon's open here for ZOOS Gaming.
I love the adaptation here from ZOOS Gaming. Yeah, we already discussed how they have the priority when it comes to challenging these neutral objectives. But we're going to have to hold that point. Is Alorm? I think he wins this.
He can survive a while. Yeah, he can survive quite a while right here. Surenfire, okay, ultimate's down. You didn't accomplish much for that, unfortunately.
Yeah,
so
you win no
Cloud9
pressure.
Academy, they go for the play, but they do not find it. They lose the dragon for it. And ZOOS Gaming, I don't want to get too excited for anybody who's an amateur fan in Twitch chat right now, but they are in the lead currently in this series, but maybe they can get a catch onto RBM. Here we go, Cloud9 Academy. They just can't kill him. Not quite enough. There we go. Finally, Surenfire turns it around. Paranoia is used, but look at that. Rahid! He dives under the turret, does so much damage. Is cleaned up by King. It's a trade of kills across the board. 2 for 2. Dark Wings, though, taking a lot of damage from Copy. He zags. He zags. The Colling's enough. Copy gets the kill.
He's got too many bullets in them guns. Nerf it again. But Copy, holy crap, that was an amazing skirmish between both Cloud9 Academy and ZOOS. Well, there's the Unstoppable Onslaught. Just make sure you match the top lane. But we need to reflect on that team fight that had just happened in the mid lane. And it was Cloud9 Academy sort of flipping the table on ZOOS, who was trying to bite off more than they could chew in that mid lane. We see the ZOOS Gaming trying to see if they can try and look for this first brick to prepare for Rift Herald, but Isles finds the weak point, is able to get a great catch, and then Surenfire with the 3-man Q, but isn't able to get the sleep because Dark Wings is able to disengage. And with that push from the Scout of the Week, Raheen is able to see that slight opening to try and get a double kill for the members of ZOOS Gaming. And after that, it was just a complete scramble here for kills, because how both of the teams were just itching to get a lead so they could prepare for this mid-game performance.
Even kills, even dragon, even gold. Only one turret in advantage for ZOOS Gaming right now. Coco, I could not have asked for a better
Herald,
game
man.
3 right now. Herald is up. We could see ZOOS positioning for this, as they do have multiple members around the top half of the map, leaving Dark Wings to push that bottom wave. And Copy does have teleport, so we could still see a fight if they want to go for it. And based on the first 17 minutes of the game, these teams seem to be willing to fight each other over pretty much everything.
And I have to say, you know, we were talking about how both of these teams, they prefer the team fighting style. They always want to be in those 5v5 situations. Cloud9 Academy, this is the first time that I feel like I've actually seen that this series. First game was a lot about picks, a lot about catches and chasing people down. The second was more about wave management and finding those additional picks once again to prepare for neutral objectives. This is the first time in this game where I'm seeing I'll say, we're looking for a team fight, we need to get pressure now before the objective even spawns, and we need to hit the go button. And ZOOS Gaming is matching them punch for punch, blow for blow. The only problem that Cloud9 Academy is struggling with right now is that Surenfire is prioritizing farm over the neutral objective pressure, and that's where RBM is being able to find those exploitations, is able to grab the second Herald of the game for ZOOS Gaming, and seeing if they can possibly break open this mid lane turret so they could open up the map and allow for more roaming possibilities for Rhino to try and find these catches and find these rotations that Cloud9 Academy is looking for.
They can look to drop it top wave, they can look to drop it mid wave, and
it's
just as we said, already down mid here. Teleport coming in as well. That's a lot of damage on RBM. He might go down here. Flash away. Isles taking a lot of damage. Multiple teleports used, but no one goes down. Raheen and RBM limp away with the smallest of health bars, and we'll try and retreat here, which means that the jungle does, for the time being, belong here to Cloud9 Academy, and they can just shove in this mid turret.
Great disengagement there from Cloud9 Academy. You also had Darshan stop the TP from Alorum in that as well. So it gives them that mid lane pressure. They can look for this turret once more. They've got the AD damage to do it with Copy and King, but Dark Wings is making sure that they can push them off of it. And with that, with the Herald breaking in that turret, it's not fallen just yet, but it's got only 100 health. All ZOOS Gaming needs to do is sneeze on it, and they can take that second brick of the game for themselves. There is only a turret gone in both of the bottom sides of the map, so it gives a lot of freedom for the side laners, for either Raheen to catch a wave if he needs to, and allow these carries to get, like, sort of just cash in on some additional gold. But with the next dragon spawning in 45 seconds, once again, it's another Cloud Soul map. I'm looking at how ZOOS Gaming was able to perform so splendidly with it last game in the second game of the series. If they're able to find it once more, you've got some big red flags you need to address for Cloud9 Academy to try and win these team fights.
Cooldown ultimate reduction on Nocturne is kind of insane. Like, it's one of the best champions that you can hope for the playstyle of ZOOS Gaming. And speaking of, Paranoia is up now. There we go. They could look for another fight here. He is taking some poke, though, as Cloud9 Academy are not just giving over free access to that Dragon Pit.
They might try and just do an exchange. You have the kill potential to take this Baron from ZOOS Gaming. And there's no vision for Cloud9 Academy to see if you're doing this. And with that respawn, you might just try and exchange
damage?
They have the they have the damage. It's just a question of how fast. And that shows that King is unconfident. He's making sure that they're not doing it. And the fact that he hit 3 members of ZOOS
does a
Gaming,
lot of damage.
Yeah, that just wipes the board clean. It's like, okay, Cloud Drake's yours, man. Go for it. We can't try and exchange for this Baron. So with that exchange, it shows that Cloud9 Academy is a little bit unsure if ZOOS Gaming can actually do this Baron. And with this, the neutral state of the game continues for a little bit longer as ZOOS Gaming is hitting those resets to try and cash in to get close to their second items. Same goes for C9.
We'll get back into the macro points in a bit here, but I was just realizing that Ezreal ult did a little more damage than I expected. That's a lost chapter on King.
Yeah, he built Leandri's Torment last game as well.
He did? Okay.
Yeah, it's something that a lot of Ezreals are trying to figure out what the best optimal mythic item is for him. It has been Duskblade for a while. It went to Eclipse for some reason for like literal day, and now it's sort of going back to what the Leandri's Torment was and how it applies magic damage and HP shred. So we'll see his damage really start to ramp up throughout this game, and at this moment in time, I think he's totally fine with just continuing to farm in exchange with Raheen. It's a question of once we get to these places where you get a massive go button from ZOOS Gaming, will King have the damage to really thwart any additional follow-up?
Cloud9 Academy playing the game that they like to play, a little slower, still scaling for that late stage. And honestly, for how chaotic the early game has been, I think that they might have hoped that they are in a better position currently, but they can't be upset with the position that they're in right now. They have control of the Rift for the time being. They have a slight gold lead and also a little closer to that Dragon Soul. So I think that if you're Cloud9 Academy, you're feeling like you're in a position that you can close out this game, can close out the series, and can continue the argument that you are the best Academy team, one of the best teams in this tournament, if not the best. A lot of people are citing Team Liquid as maybe the best team coming into it because we didn't see Cloud9 Academy in the Northern Arena tournament.
Yep.
But then, of course, Team Liquid goes down to the losers bracket right away. So Cloud9 Academy, eyes are on you right now. What's it look like? Is there still a disparity between Academy and Amateur, or is it all just made up and inflated, and can ZOOS Gaming turn this one around? We'll have to wait and see here as the Baron is up on the table. Dragon not going to be up for another 2 minutes, 50 seconds. Where should we expect action to be next, Coco?
We're looking mid lane. It's the NA ARAM as usual because Cloud9 Academy is confident with their team fighting capability and Surenfire is sort of offside presence on this Lilia. But ZOOS Gaming is really trying to make sure that these side lanes are being managed. And this right now gives Dark Wings a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, Dark Wings. There we go. The chain CC will come through. Copy picks up the kill. Unfortunate. Another positioning error from Dark Wings, the mid laner that we were hyping up so much. Younger talent, newer to the scene, but still picked up there. So that 30-second death timer here that Cloud9 Academy can play around. What can they get for it? You
can get a lot. They're looking at this bottom lane turret right now. They have double ADs, so one thing that they're really good at is hard pushing these turrets. Lorm is looking for the reset because he doesn't want to try and stay a little bit longer than usual, though. Ooh, okay, that missed. Lorm does get to reset. So it's tough for ZOOS Gaming because they need to make sure that multiple members are on the bottom side of the map for them to really try and challenge this Baron. And Cloud9 Academy, knowing that, is always making sure they have people available to always chase for this objective. Because that's the only win condition for ZOOS Gaming right now. Getting the Baron and just absolutely going crazy on these side lanes and pushing Cloud9 into their base.
How many times is ZOOS Gaming going to put up a Death Brush right now? Unstoppable Onslaught trying to be used onto RBM. Okay, actually, he just says I'm going to go right in on the King. Can he take him down? No, but Raheen maybe can. They get the shutdown. Ezreal's dead. Can they win the team fight? Alorm's trying to play front line. Raheen's doing some damage. Darkwing out there, but Alorm gets so much damage. They take down both AD carries. It's just Surenfire for damage. Surenfire and tanks, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Cloud9 Academy botched the team fight. ZOOS Gaming running them down. Raheen chasing forward. Does get knocked up. Taking a lot of damage right here. You got to be careful. Don't go too aggressive. They will decide to back off here, but that could be a mid-turret. Alorm, you want some more? Okay, you're taking some dangerous damage here. ZOOS Gaming playing with their limits right now, but Darkwing says, now it's my turn. We're just going to take turns, seeing who can kill Darshan. Spoilers, no one can. He is still a tank. So ZOOS Gaming do have to back off, and after losing all that health, I don't know if they can go for the Baron here, but it looks like they might try. No, they back off.
I was going to say, if they did that Baron, that is going to be real rough.
Gotta kill that! Oh.
Hate to see it. Love to be it, man. Getting those snipes onto Israel. King feeling pretty good about that one. But also a TP from Copy. They're rushing Baron pressure here for C9 Academy, making sure that they can be the one on the upper hand, and they're actually going to challenge it.
With Leandri's and Kraken Slayer on Lucian, they can actually burn through this very fast. As members of ZOOS, they are privy to this information. They do drop a Scryer, or the long-range ward here. Darkwing's over the wall with those orbs. RBM throws out the Paranoia. They're just trying to cause chaos for Cloud9 Academy. They don't know to go in or not to RBM. He's trying to just bait out their cooldowns, I guess. But it didn't work. Interesting call right there. But regardless, Baron is secured there by Cloud9 Academy. ZOOS Gaming cannot thwart that plan.
Yeah, it was real tough for ZOOS Gaming to try and even win that, because not only were they playing into the darkness, they also had a 2-level discrepancy between these junglers. So that is a much bigger execution window for Surenfire to take this one out. But they decided to take the sort of consolation prize in this dragon and tie it up 2 for 2. But you now have a Baron power play on the side of Cloud9 Academy, who has a really good composition to just brute force battering ram through this mid lane and have Copy on the side lane to try and duel with anyone who tries to face him in ZOOS Gaming. So into this stage, it's just rinse and repeat for Cloud9. Break down what turrets you can before there's too many members to deal with, reset, get to that next lane, and just constantly out-rotate ZOOS Gaming in these siege plays.
ZOOS Gaming very slow on the resets too. They take the dragon, they even go for the red buff, so they don't just lose outer turrets, they lose the mid-tier turrets as well.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the plan, saying, okay, we can't defend mid-tier anyway, just defend these inhibitor turrets, but they're giving up a lot over to Cloud9 Academy, who are really cashing in on this Baron buff, now finding themselves 5,000 ahead. There we go, that's a lot of damage, a lot of poke from range. RBM will have to back off right now, even though Paranoia is available. ZOOS Gaming, okay, that's a lot of damage onto Darkwings as well. Lorm's trying to face tank it all. That's going to be an inhibitor over to Cloud9 Academy. If you give them an inch, they will take a mile. That's what we learned in game number 1, and they're showing us that again here in game number 2. Decisive calls, decisive plays. You said it, ramming their heads against these turrets with this composition. They take an inhibitor and expose another.
Ooh, Rhino deciding not to try and bite off more than they can chew on this Rel. And C9 doing exactly what they need to do. Playing it slow, but as a group. Together as this unit, they are a lot stronger in taking down anything that ZOOS Gaming throws at them. Not to mention the immense amount of poke that Cloud9 Academy has. And we saw it right there. You hit one little lullaby, Whispering Lullaby from Surefire's Lilia, and you're as good as gone because you've got the culling DPS and a massive chunk that King's going to be able to hit with his barrage. So far, it's going to be real tough for this next few minutes for power play to finish up, but it looks like Cloud9 saying, you know what, we're good to go. Now it's just time to recuperate, get some vision control to prepare for that next siege, as Darshan is already priming that bottom lane.
They get their items that they just earned all that gold for. Finding themselves 4,000 in the lead currently. Dragon's up in 2 minutes 45, so there's really nothing to fight over for a while here. It's just going to be how well can Cloud9 Academy play these lanes. Darkwing's taking a lot of damage there. Okay, here we go. Paranoia used. RBM trying to get in onto Copy, but it's not meant to be. He takes way too much damage from Surefiire and Copy respectively, and he goes down. That is backbreaking there for ZOOS. I don't know how much more they can do to defend right now. Raheen running back. Okay, he's not going to get caught out here. That would have been it. If Raheen goes down, chances of ZOOS defending against the siege are slim, if not just none. But here we go, Cloud9 Academy going very far forward. Not focusing the inhibitor down immediately, and they don't have that Baron buff anymore, so they can't actually continue the siege here. Maybe they can just take all 3 inhibitors. RBM's up in another 16 seconds, but he won't have the Paranoia, so he's not really worth that much currently.
If you keep an eye, there's not a big front line for ZOOS Gaming, so the more poke they take, the harder it's going to be to try and defend. And you can already see Darkwing sitting around 3/4 health. And if King hits this, Raheen already dropping to 2/3 as well. And the constant harassment from Cloud9's range is just making it so difficult for ZOOS.
Is this how they turn it? Alorm taking a lot of damage. There we go. Rhino goes for the engage, and Alorm will go down. Unfortunately, Rhino still taking too much damage. RBM, the Paranoia comes up as he dies. Maybe Raheen can follow this up, can clean it up, but no, King jumps forward, gets the triple kill. Cloud9 Academy say no amateur team will beat us in the upper bracket. They will move on. All they got to do is take down these Nexus turrets. It was a close series.
There you go.
ZOOS Gaming gave it their best, but Cloud9 Academy are just too decisive, just too good in these late game team fights, and they will take down ZOOS Gaming, advancing to the semifinals of the upper bracket.
I don't think Cloud9 Academy thought it was going to be that hard to take on ZOOS Gaming, but man, it was a brutal 3-game series. Sure, the first game was all Cloud9 Academy's game to win. They were able to pull it out with 15 kills to only 5, if I recall correctly. And then after that, ZOOS Gaming was able to download and understand a little bit of how Cloud9 played out. And, you know, I would say that Cloud9 into this 3rd game now is something where this is the expectation that we needed out of them, where it is a lot more of that late game macro focus, where they are always being able to neutralize any of the leads and the lanes that their opponent tries to focus on. We saw that with how RBM was really trying to focus that top side of the map against Darshan. Darshan was able to neutralize that issue, and Surefiire was able to absolutely bully and oppress RBM in that jungle. And when you're able to divert that much attention away from the lanes of ZOOS Gaming and put it into Cloud9's pockets, that's where these these underwhelming benefits that Cloud9 Academy is able to accrue with King's Farm, with the macro plays and the Isles control that he's able to get with his vision. That's where it becomes almost impossible to deal with, and they're able to take that entire mile out of what just seems like a small margin.
Oddly enough, it kind of felt like that chaotic, crazy early game where supports were level 1 at the 4-minute mark and everything was turned upside down. That's where ZOOS were performing the best. They actually seemed like they were more comfortable there, as opposed to once we got to the mid game and Cloud9 slowed it down and said, okay, we're going to play more standard. Anytime RBM goes for anything, we will then just have Surenfire invade and get 2 levels ahead by these Baron Smite contest fights. And I mean, we can take another look at this early game. This was hilarious, man. Rhino getting the red buff, getting the kill, keeping them in the game for as long as they were off of this play, you have to imagine. But yeah, I mean, I guess, as I said it, ZOOS Gaming felt like they were more comfortable in the early stages with all that chaos. But Cloud9 Academy, the only 2 games they won are games like that, where they had these crazy level 1s.
Yeah, and it's because it diverts that attention away from the win condition that ZOOS wants, right? It sort of throws that chaotic sort of spree in there, like a flashbang almost, like throwing it in, hitting them with a wild play to where they're like, okay, we need to figure out a new game plan. And because of that sort of chaos in that adaptation, Cloud9 is able to stick to their guns and continue their macro style that they know and love, especially with the team fighting that Isles was constantly able to find on his Alistar. I love the change up. Sure, it was a little bit of a forced hand with Rhino taking that rel, but it gave so much more freedom for King, for Copy to get into these interesting spaces to where they were able to find that additional poke to make sure ZOOS Gaming was always on the back foot when it came to these team fighting styles. And you can see it right here. It's just a little bit of an offset with how ZOOS Gaming had to dish out these challenges. And already Cloud9 Academy had this game in the bag once it came down to this final fight.
Once you just get Cyan and Alistar standing in front of all the squishy members, suddenly RBM and Dark Wings can't just blow people up anymore in these fights because they have to get through that front line. Raheen can't just jump in and assassinate people because he has to get past the Alistar counter CC, and it becomes a lot harder to play at that point. I think that last team fight really exemplifies the fact that Cloud9 Academy, at that point, you just got to group up. You got to stop going for these crazy split push plays. Stop having Copy alone in a lane and just say, okay, always have a tank with one of our squishies. And suddenly ZOOS Gaming's composition doesn't look nearly as scary. But congratulations to Cloud9 Academy continuing their run through the upper bracket. That's their first loss that we've seen so far, though, because they did 2-0 Dignitas Mirage. And I believe that we do have an interview lined up here. I didn't catch which player it was. Wait, we got King. Okay, we actually had King in for an interview. That should be a really fun one. So if production's ready, we're ready on the show as well. Let's bring him on in here and pick Cloud9 Academy's AD Carry's brain to see what it was like during that series. King, congratulations on the win. That was a little closer than a lot of people were expecting. So how are you feeling after that one? Looks like he cannot hear us right now. All right, we'll wait for production to sort that out here while we get situated in. But I like the background that he's got. At least he's repping the Cloud9. Yep. He's repping the Cloud9. Yeah. We got you, King. No worries. We'll hang tight for right now.
Nope. I can't hear the screen.
ADC's left without his support again. No, help.
Yeah, he's. I mean, we can hear him. I hope that everybody in Twitch chat can hear him too. All right, King. We'll just wait for his verbal confirmation when he can finally hear us. Man, I didn't expect King to be rocking such great glasses, though. Look at
this. This is some cool glasses.
Yeah,
I love it.
Is that how he's able to hit those Jinx rockets with such accuracy?
Ezreal ults. If that's what the new Leandri's Torment looks like, I'm down for it. You know.
All right, Coco. I didn't make the joke earlier when you said it, but since we're in this position, I'm going to make it now. When you said that Cloud9 Academy threw a flashbang, I was going to say, well, it's more of a water grenade because toilet paper.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
I can't hear the cast.
That wasn't worth repeating. I should have just let that one die. But at this point, I've said it. So
I can't hear the cast.
All right. See, this is what happens when we have to vamp here with King in the chat with us. But he's still saying no. All right. Well, maybe there's a chance for Twitch chat. Let us know what you want us to ask King. If you got anything for us, because
I don't think that's a good idea, King. I don't know, but I just saw a corgi, so I think we're choosing a corgi play from Copy here later down the line.
Okay, can we please get a dog up on the screen?
Corgi.
Let's see. Are we gonna see it?
Let's go.
We're gonna see the dog.
MVP.
Woo!
MVP.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, now all my questions are just gonna be about that dog.
That's
Yep.
impossible.
I have to figure out the name. Figure out.
Is that
the
actually a
sacred
corgi?
symbols.
Looks like some kind
Excuse
of
me.
mix.
It might be a little bit of a
Maybe.
mix. I'm not the best at dog breeds, I will admit.
True. We almost adopted a dog, Coco,
Yes,
but
almost did. Darn
fortunately,
landlord's getting in the
Banhammer
way.
came
Eh?
down. I know, right? I would have shown it. I would have been like, "Little dude, get up here." I still miss him. I still miss him.
Yep, you still cry about
All right,
it.
they're figuring out.
Stuff.
It seems like it might be an issue on their end, not on
Nope,
production.
now they're
end
frozen.
for us. Oh, they progress.
Oh, nope. Less
We did it.
progress.
Think
Hello?
Oh, can you hear us?
We refreshed it and it worked. Okay, nice.
Oh,
All
okay.
right, King, welcome back. Wow. Okay, well, I had a question planned, but now I got to ask you about the dog. What's its name?
His name is Cooper, and
Cooper?
yeah, he's a legend.
Cooper
Alright.
is in fact a legend. Appreciate that. All right, we're gonna need to get some more Cooper throughout the broadcasts. Is that like a team dog or is that your dog?
It's our manager's dog, but yeah, he comes every game day.
Okay.
I think last during the academy split, when we didn't have Cooper, we lost. So he's like our good luck charm.
Oh.
There you go. I like it.
Okay.
I like it. Let's keep him around. All right. Well, King, congratulations on the win. That series came pretty close down to the wire, though. I mean, in that game 3, you reached a point where you really cemented a lead, but it was still back and forth throughout that game 3 and also game 2 going in the favor of ZOOS Gaming. So, honest opinions, man. I mean, what was your thoughts of ZOOS going into the series, and did they overperform, underperform? You know, how did they measure up with your expectations?
I didn't really. I didn't think much about them. I'm just like, oh, these guys beat at TSM Academy. TSM Academy must be pretty bad. So that was my initial thoughts. I didn't think too much, but I think the main reason why we struggled. I mean, I feel like game 1 is really easy. Game 2, I think the main problem was that our comp was really hard to play. Like, they played it like rather easy to execute, like team comp, and we played like a hard one, and they just they beat us fair and square. I think that they were a lot better than I thought. So yeah, they weren't actually too bad, and I think they definitely deserve to be like where they are.
Happy to hear. I mean, they're turning a lot of heads right now, not just because of their logo, but also because of their play. But let's talk about Cloud9 Academy now. A team that has looked very strong in Academy. We didn't get to see a lot of you throughout all the Tier 2, Tier 1 Proving Grounds circuit tournaments leading up to this event. So what was your preparation like going into this tournament? Do you think that it was an advantage or a disadvantage to not have to play as many stage games and instead finding practice through scrims and other methods?
I think the break wasn't that good because it was like a 1 to 1.5 month break between the last Academy game to Proving Grounds. So we took like a 1 to 2 week break, and then we just slowly built up our like amount of scrims we were playing a week. So we did like 3 days a week, then 4 days a week, then 5 days a week, and here we are. I think not playing games was sort of good because it gave us more time to think about like what's actually good right now, as opposed to playing on a previous patch. And we got to like we watched everyone else play, so we get to download like everyone else's like priorities and stuff. So I think the break was sort of beneficial and not.
Okay.
Okay.
Good in some areas, good in or not as good in others, I suppose. So if you're looking at the rest of the field right now, you're going to be going up against either Evil Geniuses Academy or 100 Thieves Academy, depending on how their best of 3 goes on later this week. What are your thoughts on either of those teams? Do you think that Cloud9 is still? I mean, you won the Academy split. Do you think that you are the team that is at the top right now, or do you think that there are teams right now that can challenge you? And will it be in this next series you're up against, or is it going to be later on in the tournament?
Yeah, it's sort of funny, but the team that I thought was going to challenge us would be TL, but they dropped into the lower bracket. So now I'm just like, I don't know, like what I thought was good or who I thought was good. It's just been flipped upside down because like everyone has been losing to like amateur teams. And like Evil Geniuses Academy, who I thought were bad, actually beat FlyQuest like 2-0, and I'm like, damn, like maybe these guys aren't too bad. So I actually don't know who I'm gonna verse, but based off like just looking at the players, I think 100 Thieves are probably who I'm gonna verse. I think Luga's pretty good. I think Demonte is not bad either.
Okay, appreciate that. Coco, I've been stealing all the questions. Do you have anything you want to ask King?
Not too much. I guess with some different itemizations, I guess this is more focused on Ezreal, as you did play it 2 games out of the series. What's the current thought process and the most favorable mythic item for him? Because you decided to go with the Leandri's Torment this time around, or the Leandri's Anguish.
Yeah. I think if you build Serrated Duskblade on any champion,
Yep.
you're literally trolling. So I thought, what is the best item that gives CDR and is somewhat decent? And I found this Leandri's. And we had a Lucian mid that game, and Ezreal, like if you have Leandri's, your physical to magic damage is like a 60, 40, 70, 30%. So like I can contribute magic damage in that way to make it hard for the enemy to itemize. So yeah, that's why I built Leandri's.
Right. Awesome.
I
love the adaptations. Yeah, okay. I think Duskblade, I agree with you on that point for sure. It's just I'm very salty around Leandri's Anguish because every single time I try and prove it wrong, it always surprises me. So thank you again for proving me wrong and thinking that I need to do my homework a little bit more. I'm excited to see you throughout the rest of the tournament, and good luck to Cloud9 Academy through Proving Grounds.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by, King. Appreciate it, man. All right, what a gamer, what a game, what a dog. Too. I forget his name already, so I feel bad now. Cooper. There we go. Thank you, Coco. You got my back. Yeah, I mean, final thoughts, Coco, on that series. I mean, I think we're definitively seeing that the field is close, right? Academy, amateur. We came into this day saying that, and I think that this series does prove it.
Yeah, it's something where for a lot of people, this is expected performance for the matchup, like Cloud9 being able to take ZOOS Gaming in a dominant fashion per se. And the reason why it's dominant, though it looked close in Game 3, is because of the differential in punishments over misplays. Cloud9 Academy was always able to take a massive amount of map state and tempo when they were able to find picks or able to find forward presence for Surenfire in the jungle. That was the reason why they were able to dominate so well in the series, and that's what makes them such a powerful threat going through the rest of Proving Grounds as they head into the semifinals. For ZOOS Gaming, going down to the lower bracket, I'm not scared for them. It's something that they're going to come back. They are the King Slayers, so I'm just excited to see who they're going to be facing up later down next week.
Yeah, well, congratulations once again to Cloud9 Academy for taking that 2-1 in that best of 3. We're going to send it over to a short break before we get ready for our next series. This is in the losers bracket. So the loser here out of the tournament for good. And we got 2 Academy teams taking each other on. Starting off with Team Liquid Academy going up against Golden Guardians Academy. It's going to be a banger, so you do not want to miss it. We'll be right back after this.
Verizon believes everyone deserves the best. That's why we start with 5G from America's most reliable network.
Verizon 5G is next level.
Then give families plans to mix and match, so you only pay for what you need starting at $35.
You get so much more than this, a great network.
And offer the best in entertainment on select unlimited plans, like Disney+, Hulu, and ESPN+, as well as Discovery+, with a Galaxy S21 Plus 5G when you buy one. There's no reason to settle for less than the best, only from Verizon.